Welcome, everybody, to Victory Circle Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Wilson. Today, we have Cindy Hawthorne, and Cindy and I have known each other, Cindy, 27 years?
Yes.
It's been a long time. Yes.
Too long to count.
Absolutely. Cindy is the CEO of Hawthorne Mediation Services, and she's originally from Chicago. She's based in Atlanta, Georgia. Cindy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Cindy, what was your childhood dream? What did you want to be when you grew up?
My childhood dream, Jason, honestly, for many years, I wanted to be a cardiovascular surgeon.
Is that right?
I was,
Wow.
yes, I was fascinated with human anatomy and just science in general. And so that was kind of my focus for, I would say, all the way through high school, really. And I took a lot of courses and, classes and high school AP classes, honors classes, things that kind of geared me towards that end. So different science classes, biology, chemistry, things like that. So that was my dream. I don't know that I necessarily followed that path, though.
Okay, so after that, you got involved in psychology and was really interested in that. What made you
Yes.
change your mind?
So honestly, when I got to college, I went to college at University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. So go Illini. But anyway, so when I got there, I think I really started getting into my first year. I realized just how difficult that route really was. And I actually took an intro to psych course, I think my freshman year, second semester, and fell in love with the class and was really interested in kind of pursuing, more classes to that end and, kind of fell in love with that and stayed with that. I did a couple of summer research programs, the Summer Research Opportunities Program, or SROP, and the McNair Scholars Program, back-to-back summers, and really, really developed my interest in psychology that way. So,
Okay, and then what did you do after school?
So I was actually a psychology pre-law major. And it's funny because I fell into law because my best friend in college was a rhetoric pre-law major. And I was just fascinated with some of the classes that she was taking. And so I was like, maybe I'll do this. I'll take a couple classes and, see if it's interesting. And I kind of had an affinity for it and ended up graduating with a psych pre-law double major. So after that, I worked for about a year completely in a field unrelated to my major. I just took a year off, worked, supported myself, applied to some grad schools and ended up getting into some graduate schools and chose a school here in Atlanta. And I got into a PsyD program in Atlanta and ended up switching to the master's program just because of the expenses and the difficulties with life, because I was kind of putting myself through school at the time. And then I transferred to Clark Atlanta University and completed my master's there. So that's where I actually attained my master's degree. It's a counseling psychology degree. And then I went to law school in 2003 and was a part-time evening student for about 7 years. It took quite a while to complete the program. It was intensive. But I did finish and got my law degree in 2010. So I took the scenic route to completing my education, but I'm glad I took my time.
Hey, you know what? I congratulate you because a lot of people don't have the resilience to go that far. And congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you. I got married and had children while in law school. It's crazy. I was thinking about that. Like, I don't even know how I pulled that off. I really, I wish I had, I could tell you it's just like almost a blur at this point.
And ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know, she married my good friend from high school, Kubaza. Shout out to KB. How you doing, brother?
Yes. He's
Yes.
nowhere around right now, but I'll let him know.
Okay.
I
That's
sure did. It's crazy how that worked out.
so, Cindy, mental health is nothing new, but we've seen a lot more of mental health issues in the news over the past couple of years, especially since the pandemic. Have you
Yes.
encountered any mental health issues along the way of your journey?
So that's my background. I was doing counseling psychology before it was, the trendy thing to do, and working with some very serious, severe at risk youth, adolescents, families. And then I ended up matriculating into our justice system and did a stint at Phillips State Prison here in Georgia, which is a close security state prison here. And I was a mental health counselor for my caseload there. So professionally, I've got an extensive background with mental health. I've worked with all kinds of individuals from, like I said, at risk youth, families, drug and alcohol treatment to some very serious offenders dealing with some forensic psychology issues in our judicial system. So in that regard, yes, I've definitely been kind of front and center in the field. Personally, I dealt with some different issues with in school bullying with my son when we actually first moved back to Georgia from Ohio, where I received my law degree at Cleveland State University. And and so that was very, very challenging because I knew that there were some things going on at school, but I really had no clue how serious they were. But I saw signs, my son started becoming much more withdrawn. He really, really was resistant daily to going to school. And this was, let's see, he transferred at the top of his third grade year and ended up going for third grade and half of fourth grade. And I received a really disturbing phone call from one of his teachers about an incident that happened where he had been physically attacked by another student at the school. And the teacher told me on the phone that he couldn't guarantee my son's safety, which was beyond jarring. So within 10 minutes of the call, I went and picked up my son from the school. We had a emergency family meeting and made a decision to homeschool him at that point. So I homeschooled him, withdrew him from school, homeschooled him for the remainder of his fourth grade year, all of fifth grade year. And while I was doing that, I was on an intensive search to look for a school environment that I could reintroduce my son back to the traditional school environment. Because honestly, Jason, fifth grade math let me know exactly what my shortcomings were. And I did not want and I didn't want to impact his learning because of the fact that I was so far removed from, fifth grade myself. And I had no idea what was going on with the new math. And so, I was just researching all kinds of schools in the process of relocating to get into a better school district, did all of that and finally got him settled into a good school where he started fifth grade. He transferred from homeschooling to his to elementary school, to traditional public school, elementary school in Cobb County for fifth grade. And which was interesting. Generating the records for homeschooling for that was really quite an experience. But it worked out. And, it's been smooth sailing since then. I forgot to mention that very importantly, we got my son into counseling within a week of withdrawing him from that elementary school. So he went into counseling and he stayed there for about a year and a half. And that was really, really instrumental in helping him to kind of recover from the trauma, rebuild his self-esteem, and not fear going back to a traditional school environment. So that was really helpful. We get him settled while we're also working with my daughter, who was nonverbal for 4 years. And yes, so just for context, my son is now 15. He'll be 16 this year. He's in high school and thriving. My daughter is 7, will be 8 this year, and she's in elementary school and is beyond thriving. We just had a meeting, an IEP meeting with her instructors, and they are looking at gifted programs for her now. So, but to go back to the beginning, yes, she was, for the first 4 years, she was nonverbal, and she was being tested left and right for, any type of auditory defects or any type of learning delays or developmental delays. And she was never formally diagnosed really with anything other than just developmental delays, speech related developmental delays, until really when she started school. But we had her going to speech and occupational therapy for a couple of years prior to her starting school at 5. So I would say from about 2.5 to 4.5, she was going to therapy and making headway, making progress, but at home was still kind of really struggling with with verbal and sensory input. And one of the things that we did to kind of ease her into language was start off with sign language, and she picked up on that really, really well. And we all ended up, the whole family jumped in, we all learned sign language with communication because we needed to be able to communicate with her. So so that worked really, really well. Found a wonderful charter school here in Georgia that she's still attending, that I immediately picked up on in kindergarten, picked up on some of delays that she had and some of the concerns, and recommended a couple of places for us to get her tested. We found out that she was diagnosed with autism, and but she's a very high functioning autistic right now. Initially in kindergarten, she struggled with very basic, motor skills, with language, with social skills, even potty training at that age was difficult. So, we were really kind of starting from scratch, and with the help of the school and lots and lots of research, which is kind of what I do anyway, and just kind of talking with folks and friends and family and people that I kind of would meet just kind of in this journey we called life, and pulling all of that information together and seeing what worked at home, what didn't, discussing it with other paraprofessionals at school, putting together an IEP, just, literally collaborative everything. At this point now, all she does is talk. She talks. She loves Beyonce. She puts together dance routines, and her memory is off the charts. She memorizes the flags to different countries around the world. She's got a wall of flags in her room, of flags that she sat down and drawn from memory. And then we'll go back and test herself on YouTube to see if she's got the flags of the right color and the right designs.
Wow.
Things like that. So it's incredible. She
Huh.
DJs videos. She's like a video jockey where she'll take 3 of our phones and we'll sync all the videos that she's watching down to the second, so that she's watching all, she's got 3 screens of the same. She's been doing that since she was, months old. So she's like an expert at that now. That's just like background at this point. So
That is an
quite a
amazing
household.
story. Yeah. What a
Oh,
household.
thank you. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. It is active. Active, I tell you that.
I mean, to go through all of that, I mean, that's a tremendous amount of love, patience, and resilience, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
We don't know anything else other, the world stops for our kids. So, we really don't know any other way of approaching this other than whatever it is that we need to support them, we do, so.
I'm glad you touched on that topic of bullying because, that's a huge topic here in Columbia. A lot of parents deal with that, and they don't really know what they should do in order to help their kids to get through something like that.
The immediate recognition for me was so key because I was, like I said, I had my suspicions. I just wasn't clear as to just how bad it was. And so there were so many parts that played into that, with the teacher even feeling comfortable enough to reach out to me, and tell me what was going on in the class. And, I think I really kind of panic react, because as soon as I got off the phone, it was beeline straight to the school. So I don't know if that was an emotional response, or I just felt like I had to protect. It was just immediate, protect my kid.
Okay, so Cindy, tell us about Hawthorne Mediation Services.
So Hawthorne Mediation Services, LLC. So after I graduated law school, which was in 2010, I kind of fiddled around for a couple of years, trying to apply to the bar exam of Illinois. Had a lot of health issues going on at that time, so that didn't work out well. But I ended up working at a private company in Cleveland, where I was doing housing diversions, shelter diversion activity and mediations there. Now, when I graduated law school, I graduated with a specialty in civil litigation and dispute resolution. So I was already very familiar with different types, alternative dispute resolution styles, including mediation. So I kind of fell into that with that particular firm in Cleveland. And basically what I did was work with shelter residents to attain housing, to secure housing for them, and did a lot of landlord-tenant mediations to make sure that people could stay in the housing. So I got a lot of experience there in terms of not just landlord-tenant mediations, but community mediations as well. I ended up starting my own business in 2013. And that's where Hawthorne Mediations came in. At that point, I started going to different trainings at the Supreme Court of Ohio to get different certifications and training experience that I could then apply to my new business. Went through the motions to get the business off the ground and started the company in February of 2013. Moved to Atlanta in 2016 and incorporated the business in Georgia, I believe in 2017 or 2018. I want to say 2017. So been in business since then.
Oh, that's wonderful. So what are your goals for this year, business-wise?
Oh my goodness. Well, to complete the law school journey and pass the bar exam so that I can go ahead and be an officially licensed attorney. I have a wealth of years of experience in kind of a lot of different areas. So trying to narrow down what I would like to do as a practicing attorney has been difficult, but I really like what I do with the company that I own now. Hawthorne Mediations focuses on enforcing Title VII civil rights. That includes, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and, our Age Discrimination Employment Act and all of our Title VII civil rights that are covered under Title VII federal statute laws. So what we do is we do federal EEO investigations for federal employees that file formal discrimination and harassment complaints. We also write final agency decisions on investigations that have already been conducted and make determinations on whether or not discrimination or harassment has occurred. And we do a variety of other legal support services as well. I do management inquiries, both privately and publicly, and of course, mediations. So I'll be doing all of that once I do become a practicing attorney, but I probably will stay with Title VII civil rights.
I wish you the best of luck and many blessings with your goals so that you are successful with whatever you do this year. Cindy, what are some last words that you have for our guests?
I would say persevere until you can't anymore. And considering our days are limited, we know the most important dates are our birth date and our death date. I don't think that we can really say that there's an end to that perseverance. When you can't do it anymore, take a break and start again the next day. But that's really what we're here for. That's the gift that we've been given by our Creator, our Lord and Savior. So is to take every day as a gift and to persevere. So that's what I would say.
Awesome. Cindy, how can people find you on social media?
People can find me on LinkedIn on my LinkedIn page, Hawthorne Mediation Services, and same as well on my Facebook business page, Hawthorne Mediation Services. I have a website coming soon, thanks to Jason, my creator. So when that comes out, we'll be publicly announcing that as well. So I'm excited about that.
I'm excited too. Cindy, thank you so much for being on our show. I will see you again soon. Ladies and gentlemen, Cindy Hawthorne.
Thank you so much, Jason. I really appreciate the opportunity. And it's so good to see you after so many years.
I know, right? Great. Good to see you too.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you for watching Victory Circle Podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.